Another batch of pepper nuts because my employees ate all of the other ones, which I'm glad they liked them, but I need more. I'm out. So I'm testing a new process. I had an idea. I'm sure somebody else has already figured this out, but it kind of, I don't know, I had this idea. So instead of chilling the dough, cutting it into pieces, and then rolling it out into logs and then cutting up the logs, what I did was, as soon as the dough was mixed and it was still really soft, I put it between 2 pieces of parchment paper and I rolled it out to like, maybe a 1/4 inch thick. Okay, so now, then I put it in the freezer until it was really, really firm. This is pretty firm. Now I'm taking my bench knife and I'm just cutting like little logs of dough, and I'm going to cut it into the little pieces. And because it's frozen, it's much easier to separate them and put them out on my baking sheet. The shape of them may be kind of weird when they come out of the oven. I don't know, we're gonna see. But I'm very, very curious. Now, of course, when you're recipe testing, you're only supposed to change one thing at a time, but I made several other changes. Just for my own, like, curiosity, I also decreased the baking soda just by a 1/2 teaspoon. I was too scared to go down to decreasing it to just 1 teaspoon total. The original recipe has 2 teaspoons. I felt like when they first came out of the oven, I could taste the baking soda. It did dissipate over time. So I'm decreasing it to 1.5 teaspoons. So I just went down by a 1/2 teaspoon. And then also, I really, really, really love the anise flavor. So I increased the amount of that to a whole tablespoon instead of just 2.5 teaspoons. And then, I know, this is a lot of changes. I also added a 1/2 teaspoon of instant espresso powder because somebody commented that they put coffee in theirs, which I thought sounded delicious. I didn't want to put like liquid coffee in here because then I would have to make lots of other changes to the dough, flour ratios and things like that. So I just put like a little 1/2 teaspoon of instant espresso powder. I know that's not traditional. I'm just curious. It sounds really delicious to me. So let's see what happens. This is the first batch out of the oven. I've been making this way too hard on myself. I should have been doing it this way the whole time. They're perfect. So that is my new method for getting them cut out. I'm gonna, right after I make the dough, roll it out between 2 pieces of parchment paper. Then freeze it until it's really firm. Then take a bench knife and just cut strips of dough and just cut them. It worked perfectly. These are a little bigger than I usually make them. I like the smaller ones. I like kind of like this size. So I'm gonna cut smaller strips, but they baked up perfectly. I like the reduction in baking soda. I'm going to update my written recipe online. If you Google Baker Betty pepper nuts, you'll find the written recipe. I'm going to update it to 1.5 teaspoons. They still got really crispy. That was the thing I was worried about losing if I reduced it too much. I can't taste the baking soda aftertaste. I'm going to leave the amount of anise extract the same because I like this amount, but I think a lot of people won't like that much. And I can't taste the coffee, the espresso powder I put in there. I could put more in there, but they're delicious. I don't think it needs to change. I don't really think that I necessarily needed to add it. I just wanted to try it. Okay, bye.